Honestly, I think this is going to be one of the more informal videos I've ever done. It's Valentine's Day, and I am asexual. And as someone who is on the asexual spectrum, this holiday has always kind of made me a little meh. And I wanted to go on a rant about it and just the holiday for a couple of reasons. Mostly because I've been thinking a lot about friendships recently and relationships, and I was recently interviewed for a documentary, and the very last question that I was asked was, how do I feel about Valentine's Day, and does it bring up any kind of feelings for me? And I wish I had had a better response to that, because I feel like I didn't really get to say everything that I wanted to. So this is a little asexual rant about Valentine's Day. Now I know that not all asexuals will feel the way that I do. I know there are probably tons of asexuals who absolutely love this holiday and don't feel a certain way about it. I personally, when I was younger, felt a little bit more left out because of it, and then when I got older, I realized if you love someone, no matter it's platonic, romantic, familial, any kind of love, that if you care about the person, you would show them every day. So you don't need like a single holiday to profess that love. And that's where I've kind of been for the past 5 to 7 years of my life. But I also feel like a lot of things around relationships get brought up this time of year for the holiday. And I feel like romantic relationships are so prioritized in our society that it just kind of sucks. I don't think people really talk about friend breakups the same way that they talk about romantic breakups, which I might do a whole video on because, oh my fucking god, no one talks about it. And I'm not gonna lie, sometimes I feel like friend breakups or platonic breakups hurt a little bit more, but that's just me. And I've also been thinking a lot more because I did post a video on Monday about an asexual's guide to Valentine's Day, and a lot of the comments under that video were, you know, this would be better for aromantic people, and this is more suited towards that community. And I feel like a lot of people forget that this holiday does affect asexuals as well. The comments were like, oh, aromantics are the ones who don't date, so asexuals are fine with this holiday. And there are a lot of asexuals who don't date because I think people really tend to forget that allosexual people, for the most part, I'm not going to say all, but a lot of people who are allosexual expect sex in a relationship, and it does affect asexuals' mental health. And it's the reason why a lot of ace folks don't want to date, don't really want to even attempt to try, because they have that feeling of, oh, no one's going to want me if I'm not going to do that thing, which I personally have struggled with because as an assigned female at birth person, you get told that sex is like the only thing that makes you have value in this society from a very young age, which is disgusting. But it is something that I personally have internalized, hearing that since I was like, not gonna lie, like 4, 5, 6. So hearing that for a majority of my life, and being ace and on the asexual spectrum, and feeling like no one would want me because I don't necessarily do those things, or I'm not always in the mood, or that kind of a thing. So that's definitely something that I've personally struggled with in my private life, of that feeling of I'm not enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not going to be what a partner would want because of my sexuality. And people don't think about that when they talk about ace people a lot, which really sucks. And it's something that we think about all of the time, or at least I think about it a lot, or I have in the past thought about it a lot. And this holiday can bring up a lot of those feelings for people who are ace or aromantic. Both of these communities have been told that they're lacking something that makes them human, or on the flip side, if they do have someone that they're in a romantic relationship with, or a partnership, or a queer platonic relationship, that other person who might not necessarily be aromantic or asexual is somehow missing out on an inherent part of a relationship because their partner is aromantic or asexual. And it's so dumb. In my opinion, it's so dumb. Because no one's inherent value comes from what their body can give you, or the romantic side of themselves, what they can give you. Ace people and aromantic people, I personally don't feel like are lacking something. I think there is a better way to go about describing it, because I've never felt personally that I'm lacking something. I know Ace Dad Advice has a different word for it, and I can't remember. Maybe at some point I'll find and react to how they put asexuality and aromanticism, and not lacking of sexuality or romantic orientation, but something else. They phrase it somehow, and it's a great way of looking at asexuality and aromanticism. But when you start to think about these holidays, or at least Valentine's Day, and it celebrates a romantic partnership, and then most people do have those kind of special times at the end of the day, it can make asexual people feel really left out and really like they are broken and like they are missing out on something, even though we're not. I just feel like there's so much focus on propping up romantic and sexual relationships in this society that doesn't necessarily have to be. It's just a different type of relationship structure that people have. And I feel like ace people and aromantic people have a very different way of looking at relationships, a very interesting way of structuring their relationships. And it's something that I feel like allosexual people can learn from. And I do, for the most part, feel like ace folks and aro folks have a lot of communication when it comes to the relationships or partnership or queer platonic relationships that they choose to be involved in, because everyone has boundaries. Obviously, this isn't something that's just special to ace folks or aromantic folks, but there is a little bit more communication, I believe, involved when it comes to people who are ace. But I just feel like people put so much emphasis on romantic and sexual relationships that they forget about how beautiful platonic connections are and familial love is. And it's so funny because I feel like that's a relatively new thing, which isn't a bad thing. The more people who hear about asexuality and start to identify with it, we can start to talk about different ways in which relationships can be. That's just me. Especially when it comes to days like Valentine's Day, when you are thinking a little bit more about, like, you know, how prominent heteronormativity is in our society and how in your face a lot of people are when it comes to their relationships, specifically on this day. It can make a lot of ace people feel really lonely, and it can make a lot of aro people feel really lonely. So yeah, just my little rant about Valentine's Day and making sure that people in the ace community know that they're not alone, that you have people who love you, who care about you, who want you here. Your relationship structure, or whether you're in a relationship or not, it doesn't change your value as a human being. And I feel like we are told that all of the time, like, you have more value if you're in a relationship, which is crazy. But yeah, just a little Valentine's Day rant from your local asexual person. So I hope all of the people in the ace community and the aromantic community are having a good day, good self-care day. And yeah, that's it. That's all this little video is. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I am so close to 25,000 subscribers, and like 80 some odd % of you who watch my videos don't subscribe. So please help a bitch out. I want to be getting as close to 50,000 subs by June, so that would be amazing if you could all help me out. Help grow this little queer ace non-binary community, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.